I'm Airyus, and I'm stalking people. Yup, that's right. This week, I have a special surprise. Someone who just started playing the game this year in April and has reached the top ranked spot in the arena. Stick around while I spy. We're in for some real great master level tips.
But first, shout out of the week goes out to Ote. Thanks for your support of this channel. Stay rad, my friend. Oh, and sick content on your channel. You got my subscription for sure. This is Airyus. How should I refer to you?
You can refer to me as Rubik or Dante, but most still know me just as Rubik, your favorite poisonous lizard.
I love it, dude. Rubik, the poisonous lizard. By the way, you kick ass in the arena, dude. Like, that is so awesome. I'm super excited to be talking to you today. I want to know, just like a lot of other people, like, how did you discover Elder Scrolls Blades?
Well, if I remember correctly, on a quiet day when I was just playing Skyrim for the billionth time, modding the hell out of it, because that's what my heart fully desires. Just Skyrim modded to the brim, just perfection in everything, graphics, gameplay, combat. I was looking around and I was looking for some weapons, if I remember correctly, to add to the game. That's when I found a screenshot of an enchanted, or I think ultimate weapon from Blades.
Okay.
And I investigated. And I investigated because that looked very, very cool to me, and I wanted that in my game. And then I found out, oh my god, I forgot that Bethesda had a mobile game that I wanted to sign up for years ago already for the early access, but my phone was not capable to handle it back then when I had a different, lower quality phone.
So you're a Skyrim player?
Yes, with thousands of hours.
Man, okay. So I just got done talking to the creature. Last week, I talked to Jorny. All three of you, and this is my third one, all three of you are Skyrim players. What's up with that?
Well, after all, Skyrim is a pretty big game with an even bigger fan base. So obviously those people will look for other games similar to the one they all dearly love. And
that's
well,
awesome.
They will find Blades.
Were you, initially, when you picked up Blades, how did you feel about it? Knowing that, hey, this might be my Skyrim mobile.
Well, at the start of it, I didn't really play much of it. I played a little bits of story here and there, a little bit of PvE, and I haven't really indulged in PvP after I've gotten absolutely gobstomped at level 5 in the arena on my first ever match, as many have probably before.
Yep.
So I've just been playing maybe half an hour a day, just getting a bit of quests done, and it started being more and more fun the more I did it, and so I started playing more. And around level 20 is when I started to really discover the arena again. I gave it another try, and I started beating people, and I liked what I did.
When did you start your arena journey? About what season, do you remember?
Around 26 April.
26 April this year?
Yes, when I started to play arena.
So I gotta say it out loud so people understand. April 2021 was when you started playing in the arena, and now you're among the top ranked players in the world. Like, that's pretty impressive, man.
I think that when there's learning involved and when there's game mechanics to be learned, that I'm very, very quick in picking those up and taking them up completely for myself.
Give me an example of a game mechanic that you picked up quickly, that you figured out you could use against people.
Definitely overhead swings, which I actually completely discovered on my own.
Yeah?
Because I noticed sometimes when I attack and they're currently in an attack or something and their body is low, my hit just missed. And that's when I realized, oh wow, this game actually has completely functioning hitbox, and it's not just hit. So
you mentioned something there, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but man, I think you just touched on something golden. Hitbox. So there's a hitbox to the character, which means, like, for example, if the character swings and their body ducks lower, you have a better chance of swinging over them because of the hitbox?
Yes, a great example what many people have figured out and do is, I'm known for my poison build and for casting paralyze to pretty much time out the opponent for 3 whole seconds and kill them in that time.
Yeah.
So what I've seen people do is use an ability like power attack or guard breaker to then be low so I can't hit them, which is a problem for Switch players because they can't really control their hits like that. Me playing on a phone, I quickly figured out I can just drag my attacks lower, to be precise, under my health, that's where their body is and where the hitbox is. I think Switch is just mostly known for making it easier to attack cancel.
Yes, that I have seen.
Which phone players are, I haven't mastered it yet, and I might get some in here and there, I might do some, but I'm not confident in actually completely using them to my advantage in Arena yet. But
Wow.
Someone like Sammy proves to me that there's not a complete disadvantage from Switch to phone with attack canceling, because Sammy plays on a phone and he's the best attack canceler in the game.
Yeah, I get tricked by Sammy all the time. I mean, well, actually, it's not hard to trick me. I'll pretty much high block swing at anything, but Sammy has a very quick cancel.
Sammy is very well known for using this mechanic completely for his own end. You can see where he is. He's the best two-handed player in the game.
What do you like most about Blades, and what do you like the least about it?
I think the most about Blades is my friends have helped me obtain. To a part I like most is just the community, because when I just started playing Arena and I've just started beating higher level players, when I was just at 600 trophies with level 25, 26 something, my old guildmaster Lucas has gladly taken me in because he saw the potential, and each month I've gotten better and better and I've climbed higher and higher. The community and how people like Dagon and Lucas have mentored me, helped me learn the game mechanics, helped me learn what is good in Arena, what bonuses to look for. That's probably the aspect I like the most. But I got into the game and got just a giant amount of help and training by so many amazing people, many of which I am very, very huge friends now.
So, man, that's good. The community is a great place. And I talked about this with Lucretia. It's getting bigger, and we've seen it. We've seen more players like you showing up in April and then all of a sudden taking over number 1 spot. Take everything that you know now, and you can go back into a time machine and give your new self one piece of advice. You only had enough time for one bit of advice. What would you tell yourself?
I would probably tell myself to start going mage earlier, because
Really?
after I've gone mage, when I made the switch from fighter, I've just discovered how extremely much fun it is. And since I've also always played a pyro mage in Skyrim, that playstyle fit me very well. And that was also around the time when I discovered that, hey, light weapons, you will probably have a faster time to inflict a condition to anyone, which means you will get your bonuses from your enchanted stuff, from your enchanted armor and wings earlier, which made me learn light weapons and completely master light weapons.
So you bring up another good point, and I love these points that you're bringing up, by the way. Talk about regen. What would you say your primary source of magicka regen is?
Well, both my necklace and my shield, which for some builds I go with an elven shield, with a divine elven shield, which gives me a whopping 40 plus magicka regeneration, which is it's huge. I almost never run out of magicka to use with those. And
I noticed.
mostly people know me for taking that big piece of buck into the arena, the chitin shield, the divine chitin shield, which I've taken up because, hey, I saw it as magicka regeneration, and Dagon pointed me towards those as a start until elven shields are back in store, and I started getting 3 perfect chitin shields. So those are pretty much my best shields.
Okay.
And since I don't have an elven shield with bonuses that outmatch those shields, I am making do with those divine chitin shields, which only have half the extra regeneration of an elven shield. 20. One thing that might interest you very well is that I think that shields on their own have a hitbox as well.
What?
because I've seen that with the chitin shield, which is quite very, very, very big. I think it's the biggest
huge.
shield in the game.
It's big, yeah.
And the bare sudden edge of the shield still gets Sammy, or someone like Sammy, and Sammy personally I've had this with, stunned when he was overhead swinging.
No way.
Yes, because the shield ended basically higher than my head.
I love those theories, man, because I didn't even think about the concept of a hitbox until you brought it up. And, you know, now it makes sense because you can make your characters taller. Have you been doing that?
Yes, my character is completely tall, but I think that doesn't really play a role since the arena focuses in on your opponent and I think always leaves the same amount of space over their head.
So it doesn't matter then, the height of the character.
I think not.
You recently started doing more Warlock Ring stuff. I mean, have you noticed a significant trade-off in your damage?
Well, usually I only play the Warlock's Ring on my artifact build, on my already artifact build. One thing people also know me for is using the Ebony Mail, the level 33 or 30 artifact.
I've seen that come out a couple of times, yeah.
On a competitive level, and I'm making it work. I mean, it has P-Dog, which is a whopping extra damage. It's, I think, 22. So that's not that much off from the max enchant, and it gives 10 plus poison damage, which means that together with a Warlock's Ring, which usually would cost me the bonus a ring gives me in elemental damage, I am not going to lose any elemental damage.
Huh.
So that means before I had Warlocks, I played it with 5 times on gloves, on the necklace, on my 2 poison rings. The game kind of pointed me towards P-Dog since I know I wanted to make a poison build because I wanted to use paralyze. I wanted to make paralyze viable again because people said, yeah, it's not that great a spell. It's not that good.
Dude, everybody uses paralyze now. All the time.
In comparison to something like Ice Spike, which is faster, freezes, does the damage to stamina too.
Yeah,
and,
I see.
Just in general was seen as much, much better. When I came in with my paralyzed build and I started building that up and I started getting more and more for that, and I started paralyzing people one time and the game is over because I do 3,000 damage in 3 seconds.
Yeah,
of that paralyze.
That's crazy, man. So you don't really believe in the regen on your rings or on your gloves. For rings and gloves, you pretty much just go straight damage on those.
Yes, I think that sorcerer and the stamina enchantment on rings and gloves, those are not for me. Other people make that work, like someone with I think stamina rings and gloves. That makes it work very well is probably someone like Stamar makes it work at his level, or Hopta on a higher level.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
And for my playstyle, I definitely do not want to miss any elemental damage.
What level is your paralyze, if you don't mind me asking?
12.
And that pretty much hits most people that aren't using like a scale shield, huh?
Yes, it paralyzes through pretty much anything if they are not blocking. A maximum power boosted resist elements 5, it will paralyze through if they are not blocking. So if I can catch them in quick strikes, it's game.
Wow.
And other than that, most fighters will not be able to cast paralyze resist elements more than once against me. So after I've stalled those first 10 seconds, I can go for a well-timed paralyze and end the game.
Your starter tactic for the most part is to, if you see him putting up the resist elements, you like, wait, I gotta wait for that to kind of burn down, then you go for the attack?
Well, I do currently, and what I've grown to love over the last few weeks is the combination of paralyze and frostbite, which I have gotten only 1 ring for, which is not that perfect. It's got EDIR, which I'm happy with, so I'm making up with 3 times P-Dog, since I think the spell combo makes up for the loss of 1 bonus.
And when you say P-Doc, can you clarify what you mean by P-Doc?
P-Doc is the secondary bonus, which increases your physical damage dealt to the opponent if they are suffering under a condition. So with my Ebony Mail build, for example, my original Ebony Mail build with 5 times P-Dog, I have 150 extra damage. So you can basically see my dagger that usually does 162 base damage as a dagger that does 312 base damage, higher than any 2-handed weapon in the game.
That's crazy, because I'm thinking about that now. Like you'd just be conditioning them all the time, and as long as you're critting, you're dishing out the maximum level of damage.
Even with only 3 times P-Dog, as I'm using it with my Paralyze and Frostbite combo, I still do quite over 500 damage on crits. And since with light weapons, I can usually get 5 hits in doing 1 stun.
So here's what everybody's going to ask. If you can build the perfect mage build with all the perfect secondaries and everything, what would you build?
That's quite a hard question, since I've only gotten blessed by the game with the Paralyze Frostbite combo. I've still been looking for an awful amount of time to try Lightning Bolt with Paralyze, which I did before with Lightning Bolt at level 6, the maximum without any rings. It was working quite a bit. If it did anything, it at least shut down the maximum power at the start for most people, which made my paralyze easier, even through a shield. I'd still want to test that, but if I had the opportunity to make the perfect build right now, I would probably go with something very similar I have right now, which would probably be the weapon with plus poison and minus magicka to hold off any wards and absorbs, and anyone from casting resist elements again. A shield with the same, an exhaustion shield.
So you would double up. Okay, nice. I like it.
Yes, because the double poison conditioning is obviously also going to play a part in conditioning people easier, giving me the bonus damage.
And you're more worried about people's magic than stamina at this point.
Yes, since the stamina I can already attack with the Frostbite very, very strongly.
Nice. And
I'd have 4 times EDIR on my gloves, my necklace, and both wings, and 4 times P-Dog on the same. Frostbite, Frostbite works in the game counts the speed on as ticks. So the Frostbite has probably 10 ticks per second, where it each does like a tenth of the damage, which is stated it does per second. So with EDIR, which completely ignores any amount of resistance, that means you will always do that set amount of damage. That means with 4 times EDIR, you always freeze any and everyone through any frost resistance, any elemental resistance, any spell resistance they have.
And it won't matter. There's nothing they can do.
Exactly.
Holy crap.
I've discovered that and seen that when Dagon asked me to go more on EDIR. That's around the time I got that Paralyze and Frostbite ring. So I've used 3 times EDIR and 3 times P-Dog and 1 time Prolong, which then resulted in playing against White Wolf one day in Arena, and him going a whopping 150 frost resistance against me. And I've just froze him, no problem, through that.
Wow. Even through a Stalrim shield too?
Yes.
Dude. What can you even do about that then?
There's not much, I think. I think the best anyone could probably do is ward or absorb or something like that, or the dodges, which dodge the damage and therefore not count as resistance.
So I've been seeing a lot more people using dodge lately, and that would make perfect sense, because when I look at that tooltip, it kind of confuses me. It seems weaker to me than it really is. You know what I mean?
I think someone that very, very efficiently uses dodges, or to be certain focusing dodge, is Dan. And Dan is, for me personally, I think he's the second best two-hander we have in the game, beside coming right after Sammy.
Nice.
And he uses the focusing dodge pretty much always, and he uses it very, very damn effectively. He can dodge getting frozen from me, he can dodge my ice spikes and my paralyzes, and I really have to attack his stamina first before committing to anything else, while I also have to attack his magicka, because if I just focus on the dodge, then he will still have absorb and ward at the ready for me. Not to say that the focusing dodge also removes his cooldowns on ward and absorb, so he can use that right after to block the next thing coming.
Man, you're talking about some serious master level gameplay here. What you described are answers to questions that a lot of us have, like, hey, when is the right time to hit that dodge? Because we know that, if the longer you wait, the more it's gonna dodge, right?
On a spell like Frostbite, I think that bonus will always come in full effect, since Frostbite just continuously does damage.
So that would be like a hard counter to Frostbite then.
Yes, because I'd have to ask Dan if that is the case. Also, you have to be sure that the dodge you're using does dodge enough damage. I think a normal dodging strike at level 1 is not gonna cut it. I'm paralyzing through that, I'm ice spiking through that, no problem. You're gonna get stunned, paralyzed, and then it's over.
So the moral of the story is if you're gonna use a dodge, you better use a big dodge.
Well, not a completely big dodge, but I think you should level it up 1 or 2 times.
Gotcha.
To get the most out of it, especially for things like that. If you're aiming to counter a frost build, a frost mage for example, which uses a strong frostbite, then having a dodge that dodges over 200 damage is gonna be very, very helpful.
There we go. That's the numbers we're looking for. Dude, Kara, so she does speak to about you a lot.
I think that she's one of the bigger pillars in the community that hold the community nice. And especially the German community, she's a big pointer for that. And at the start when I got to know her, and we just started to slowly talk and slowly started to fight against each other. And that was at the point where she was still beating me completely. Okara was one of the people which I've exchanged just many of my little achievements with. Like, for example, my first ever round taken from someone like Sammy, which she was always super enthusiastic about. And I think she would do that for any other player. Because
she does, all the time, yep.
Seeing other people's success and seeing them happy and seeing them just making progress and getting better stuff, better equipment, I think that's just one of the things that make her happy, and I'm super glad for someone like her, because she was and still is one of the biggest fun parts in the community.
Absolutely, man. I mean, for me to have her in the Illuminati, like, is huge. I mean, you know, we have a lot of cool people in our guild, and Kara is definitely among that pillar. You know, she holds us together as a guild and is always very active and encouraging and helping out our newer players. And to know that she's done that for people outside of the guild, dude, that is cool, you know?
I'll just cite this from old Rubik. The build as it's planned will do 5x PDOC, equals 150 extra damage. So my dagger is the strongest weapon in the game, if poisoned, and I need 2 more PDIA, so it ignores 600 armor rating. I calculated it already, and that should do about 600 to 800 damage. So yeah, wow. My first plan was actually to go PDIA with it, which I've quickly changed my mind about that one. I was just doing like 10 or 12 extra damage, which wasn't making the cut for me on daggers. I think with a weapon like two-handed, that would have been much, much higher. Well, Kara is one of the first persons I started with talking in May, in very early May, when she sent me a video of her versus me. I can link you that video. It was one of my very, very early fights in Arena, actually. It's just been a huge thing to talk with her. I've talked with her about everything I wanted to do, about everything I learned, everything I experienced, and she's just been one of the also biggest pillars where I just saw my progress, because I started beating her slowly. I started taking a round, I started taking a match, my first match against her, and I saw that I was getting better, and that has motivated me to keep going even further and make my build even stronger.